For 200,000 years, humans have existed on this planet, scientists say. Scientists also agree that we are hardwired through years of evolution and DNA mutations to only associate within tribes of 150 people maximum, and to not really be able to think of more than 3 things at a time. As the narrating author of this story, I know this information from the many books on evolutionary biology, anthropology, and human histories I've read, and the many analogies those authors and myself have made to modern life and current living situations. As a musician, a singer, a dancer, an entertainer, a performing and visual artist, and creative and observer of the human condition, I present another set of numbers necessary for this story: 5 and 2. The number 5 refers to the 5 senses we experience and identify the world: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. The number 2 refers to how, through modern technology's effects on the transactions of energy and information, we are increasingly experiencing and identifying our world only through 2 of our senses: sight and sound. And by sacrificing our 3 other senses, smell, taste, and touch, we live in a faster world in terms of information, connectivity, and expectation, but at the same time, we are hurling our bodies into a real-life prequel to the Matrix movies and title of this story: The Trinary Matrix. The significance of the Matrix movies, where people live complete lives in their minds, asleep in cocoon pods while artificial intelligence robots harvest our energy, increases when considering a line from another 1999 movie, Fight Club. You are the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world, Brad Pitt's Tyler Durden tells Ed Norton's narrator, to justify violence and material destruction, to feel anything. The 90s were coming off a decade of the Jim Carrey silly dancing white man stereotype that would pervade pop cultural media for the next 3 decades. Symptomatic of a larger pattern throughout American history of using race or skin color to influence sensual versus material entitlement. Symptomatic of a still larger power play pattern throughout human history we will eventually call Trinaryism. To be clear, this was not Jim Carrey's fault.
I'm sorry.
It was the timing of his talent with the marketability of the different people's presentations of self to keep the hyper-corporate system running. The system is a complex structure of hyperpolarizing processes involving audio-visual symbols of entitlement that keep society divided into various opposite groups, while selling both sides coping and survival mechanisms. Creative innovation is kept low enough to keep the masses brainwashed by these symbols, and just high enough to create products for mass consumption and maximum profit. For those at the top keeping the system in place. A movement of artists and thinkers called Trinaryists discovered a secret during the system's divisive times. It was the artists that brought all people together through shared rituals despite their differences outside them. So the artists and performers had unique insight. Their intellectual curiosity led them to digging up the secret of the Trinary Matrix, which lay underneath the polarizing, profiteering, binary ways of the system. They discovered that when the system stereotyped different people, they put them in a box. And just like every box has 3 dimensions of height, width, and depth, every person's identity has 3 dimensions of objects, behaviors, and the rules. So started the struggle between the human creative spirit, asserting its 3-dimensional existence, and the system's strategy of turning people into multi-tiered binary us versus them conflicts to make it money. To take control, the system learned to move people out of their bodies and into their heads with good storytelling. With each innovation, the system's storytelling programming grew faster and farther reaching. First, there was body movement, then spoken language, then writing, then printing, then recorded sound, then images, then talking pictures. Then they were broadcast in families' homes on stationary devices, which eventually became portable enough to follow each person in their pocket. The stories included entertainment, games, current events, education, one-to-one messaging, personal reflections and expressions into the void, and product advertising.
Now that, my friend, is some good storytelling. Smooth beginning, tasty middle, and a finish that makes you smile. Yep, that's good storytelling.
The audio-visual stimuli mining people's attention became so abundant that the lines blurred between types of information just as they blurred between its sources. Originally, it was a one-directional channel sending stories from corporations to people. But once the media became social and interactive, it started flowing from people to corporations to complete a feedback loop of profitability, polarizing and translating to such a degree of binary language that it became quite popular for people to say that life was a digital simulation instead of a dream. The funny thing about life is that even though, as different people, we all live in 3 universal dimensions of objects, behaviors, and the rules, we experience life in only one of these dimensions, behaviors, which includes everything we do on the outside and inside, what we sense through sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, and whether we like it or not. And we can't accurately judge what we like in the long run or short term if we don't have enough experience through the senses. It makes us anxious and easily manipulated, and the system knows this.
I know.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamer of dreams. The great Willy Wonka once quoted poet Arthur O'Shaughnessy, highlighting the importance of feelings to fully live and the artists who deliver them. That's how people get in the moment, how they remember, and how they dream, by feeling it. Of course, you can't feel anything if you don't have objects to feel, like Maslow needs and extending luxuries, and instructions for how to start and stop.
How do I start and stop feeling these things?
That's where, throughout history, battles over physical resources and beliefs in God, science, and even love came into play. So before people would walk themselves into full sensory immersed virtual pods, the system figured out how to profit from these conflicts by taking a core principle from the artist's playbook, the one that says, art imitates life, and life imitates art.
Who am I?
Oh yeah, that's me.
Where am I? Oh, there I am.
What if life imitated art to such a degree that real life became unbearable without technological help?
Life is scary and boring. My phone will save me.
Where religion was once the opiate of the people, media came to replace it. Art projected through wires and liquid crystal enclosed by a glass screen, so that no matter what is seen or heard, it all smells, tastes, and feels like glass, all the while implying what life is supposed to smell, taste, and feel like, all in your pocket and in the palm of your hand. They serve glass, and we taste chicken because everything in the Matrix tastes like chicken. But not in real life in its Trinary Matrix, and not during live performances by real artists, who remind us how a perfect smile from a stranger often feels better than 100 social media stories from thousands of friends. The system's powerful storytelling technology, however, led to high expectation and ideals of what real life is supposed to feel like, because the idea of something is always better than its reality. But we live in reality, not ideas, until the Matrix cocoons offered an alternative. Parents and partners rather look at their phones and screens instead of each other and their children, unable to deal with the natural awkward silence of the air and lonely emptiness between each moment, what previous generations called God or chance. Chance meetings were intercepted by deafening, blinding screens, while our bodies screamed for taste, smell, and touch.
Why are we crying? It hurts so much.
But instead of patiently creating and waiting for those moments, we just kept feeding ourselves narcissistically draconian, dopamine-rich, self-righteous, cynical stories told through light and sound, while our souls continue to starve.
The sweet burn of my pride, the sweet burn of my schadenfreude, sparks and static.
And so, we're left at a crossroads of two possible endings in this existential multiverse. The first, a prequel to the Matrix trilogy. The second, a call to arms to artists and other missionaries of the moment. In the first, we become voyeurs, mistaking our screens and eventual digital smelly, tasty, and touchy Matrix pods for fully lived first-hand experience of freedom. Deep down, we know something is off. You can't explain it, but you feel it, Morpheus says to Neo before offering him the red or blue pill. In the second, the world comes to an additional realization to Black Lives Matter, that within the heat of the moment, feelings matter as much as materialism and faith, that those three dimensions blend to make up our experiences beyond color and mortality. A movement of artists and creatives deliver this reckoning through shared rituals and activities, showing we can recognize and respect our differences and similarities at the same time within the Trinary Matrix. Art and music become integral parts of education and social community, spearheading an anti-smoking campaign towards media addiction, so that the double-edged sword of technology is used to heighten full sensory engagement in real space and time, and will never feel lost when the lights go out again.